North Korea is the most isolated country in the world. The country has been effectively cut off from the rest of the world because of the international sanctions that have been placed on North Korea. Also, North Korea's commercial ties with other countries have been officially halted. In spite of this, the shadowy nation's leader Kim Jong-un, as well as the other country's elites, are able to live lavish lifestyles, with many of their luxuries coming from abroad. So the question is, where does all this money come from? But before we answer that, welcome back guys to Let's Get Techy. I'm your host Luke, and in today's video we're going to take a look at the likely ways cash is flowing into the so-called Hermit Kingdom. But before we take another step forward, if you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button right now, and why not hit the bell icon whilst you're at it? A recent report suggests that the main source of the country's income is illegal activities and many other online criminal activities as well. Among these, the first way North Korea makes money is number 1. Slave labor abroad. North Korean workers are not only underpaid and mistreated in their own home country, but they are also subjected to slave labor in other countries as well. A United Nations press conference held in 2015 by reporter Marzuki Dorisman alleged that between 50,000 and 800,000 North Korean citizens have been sent abroad to work in various labor industries. These include mining, construction, and textiles, and primarily are in China and Russia, but also in countries throughout Asia, Europe, and Africa as well. Working conditions are harsh and wages are almost non-existent, with the constant surveillance ensuring that laborers are overworked. Money is exchanged for the arduous labor, but it all goes to North Korean government. Number 2. Hacking is big business in North Korea. Although most North Koreans are denied internet access and even mobile phones, previous defectors that have left the country have claimed that Pyongyang has around 6,000 professional hackers. And it's believed they were behind the WannaCry ransomware attack that targeted organisations including the UK's National Health Service in 2017. Kim Kuk-sung, former leader of the North Korean cyber team, claimed that the hackers were working in the 414 LEZZ office, also known as Kim Jong-il's information center, within the government. According to a confidential UN report released in 2019, these hackers stole $2 billion to fund the country's nuclear war program. Number 3. Stocking up on cryptocurrencies. North Korea has not limited itself to hard currency, and cryptocurrency provides another significant source of revenue for their regime. According to Chainalysis' in 2022 crypto crime report, the regime stole nearly $400 million in cryptocurrency last year, which is believed to have funded the country's weapons program. Earlier this year, North Korean hackers allegedly stole cryptocurrency worth more than $600 million from Axie Infinity users. It is also believed that the government has been legally purchasing assets such as Bitcoin, which is not controlled by governments or banks and is difficult to trace, making it an ideal investment and source of income for the isolated state. Number 4. Forging banknotes. Not every illegal activity in North Korea has something to do with drugs. Forgery of banknotes is another skill that has become quite refined among certain North Koreans. Reproducing notes to such a standard requires a lot of knowledge and expensive machinery, and the fact that multiple experts were required to determine that the reproductions were not real notes suggests that resources from the government were likely responsible. North Korea has earned a reputation for trading in counterfeit cash for real money for their regime, which has contributed to the naming of the counterfeit $100 bills as super notes. This is due to the fact that the counterfeit bill looks very similar to real paper money and it is very hard to identify. Number 5. Making and trafficking drugs. Producing and selling illegal drugs is one of the alleged illegal activities that takes place on the third floor, which is the central administration of North Korea for managing finances. It has been speculated that for a long time that North Korea has both produced and trafficked narcotics for the purpose of making a profit. And it is possible that it will continue to do so as sanctions are increased, which will restrict the trading of legitimate goods. Given that the state has tax border controls and there is a high demand for drugs, trafficking in illegal substances is an easy and lucrative way to make money, so it is highly unlikely that the state will clean up on its act anytime soon. The assertions made by Kim Kuk-sung led credence to this. In an interview with the BBC, he said that he had set up a secret drug lab in the Workers' Party office with the goal of making money for revolutionary causes, mostly by making and selling crystal meth. Number 6. Hacking through LinkedIn. In August 2021, the most recent North Korean Bitcoin scandal broke. The cyber attacks were carried out by sending seemingly innocuous messages through the professional networking site LinkedIn. The hack was revealed by the Finnish cybersecurity firm F-Secure, in which North Korean hackers known as the Lazarus Group created fake job profiles targeted at employees working for aerospace and military companies in more than 12 countries. These including the United States, the United Kingdom, China, Russia, and South Korea. Personal and private information was then easily accessible to criminals, who could then use it to steal Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies from anyone who owned it. Despite being discovered, security firms warned that this was not the first and will not be the last malicious cyber attack to originate from North Korea, especially given the coronavirus's impact on other avenue streams. Number 7. Exporting coal. North Korea's main export is coal, which brings in more than $370 million per year in illegal shipments. In order to comply with UN sanctions, China announced in February 2017 that it would suspend all coal imports from North Korea for the remainder of the year. However, North Korea's coal industry is still thriving, and coal has been delivered to China via ship-to-ship transfers, according to confidential United Nations reports. Kim Kuk-song, a North Korean defector interviewed by the BBC in 2021, stated that he was in charge of selling rare metals and coal to raise extra funds for the country. He had previously sold many commodities for millions of dollars and had brought the cash back to North Korea in a suitcase. Number 8. Exporting seafood. Pine mushrooms have become North Korea's most well-known export since Kim Jong-un presented 2 tons of fungus to the North Korean government in 2018. However, North Korea also exports a variety of other foodstuffs in order to increase its revenue and support its government. Mollusks, for instance, were responsible for a respectable $137 million in revenue in 2017 alone, and North Korea was responsible for 1.3% of the world's mollusk exports. According to the Observatory of Economic Complexity at the Massachusetts Institute of Technology, North Korea sells about $2.69 million worth of processed fish to China every single year. This figure represents a fairly significant portion of the country's overall exports. Number 9. Exporting textiles. According to the Organization of Economic Cooperation, North Korea's exports of clothing in 2017 totaled at $584 million. This figure includes non-knit coats, suits, and activewear among other types of clothing. In recent years, there have been a lot of controversy regarding clothing that was manufactured in the socialist state. The reason for this controversy is that a lot of the clothes are said to have been labelled with Made in China tags before being exported. Number 10. Trading with China. It is believed that North Korea conducts the majority of its trades with China, approximately 80% of it in fact, despite the fact that they stamp its textile exports with the phrase "Made in China" before sending it off. According to the Organization of Economic Cooperation, the country's exports to China in 2015 totaled $2.34 billion, which is equivalent to £1.83 billion. According to the report, India, which brought 3.5% of North Korea's exports, Pakistan, which brought 1.5%, Burkina Faso, which brought 1.2%, and Saudi Arabia, which brought 0.89%, are other countries that buy most of North Korea's exports. And finally, number 11. North Korean restaurants abroad. In addition to selling its good in foreign markets, North Korea has also begun operating restaurants and bars in a number of different nations around the world. In an effort to monetize North Korea's well-known cuisine and a form of entertainment, the country's government has opened more than 100 cafes in China and even some in other countries too. These include Thailand, Vietnam, and even the Netherlands. These cafes are all named Pyongyang after the capital of North Korea. The chain is well known for its air of mystique, and there are strict guidelines regarding the photography of the performances that waitresses give in between taking orders from customers. The businesses are run by North Koreans for North Koreans, and any profits that are made are sent right back to the North Korean government. So that's it for today's video, guys. If you have any views or comments about North Korea's regime, put it in the comment section below. And once again, if you haven't done it yet, hit that subscribe button. Thanks for watching, guys. Have a lovely day, and I will see you in the next video. Thank you again.